Now let's continue with our example. So blue's had its turn, yellow and red has now claimed the farm. Blue will now place its next tile. Now, randomly drawing a tile, blue ends up with this interesting piece. Now you'll notice straight away that it has this pennant or shield in the corner. This makes it a really valuable piece because when the value for cities is scored, each pennant adds 2 points to the cost of the points of the city. So blue, looking straight away, might quickly decide that it would benefit by building onto the city, and it now claims all of that. Very nice for blue. It's building a larger city. This one's going to be probably at least 4, but it could be larger. It just depends how the other tiles play out. Okay, so yellow has its turn. And yellow decides, it draws a tile, and it draws something quite similar actually. And it decides that it's going to try and hijack blue. Yellow places its meeple in the city, and as you can see, what we have is this interesting situation in the middle here now, where these two cities seem inevitably to meet. But depending on the pieces drawn, it may not. It also may be that some of the critical pieces which you need to complete a special little piece like this may have already been played, in which case you may not have any luck in drawing the correct piece to finish your city. In the meantime, yellow's trying to hijack blue's city. Red, on the other hand, draws its next component, and it's a city with road, and I'll just place it here. And red decides to score points for this road by placing it on there because it has a start and finish at the two intersections. So red may claim 3 points. Now red at this point doesn't have any points, so let's look at our scoring track and we'll see that red has climbed up to 3 points. But red has a lot of potential left to score, so let's keep going. The next draw is for blue, and blue, seeing that this is possibly going to be hijacking his city. Now, how this hijacks is that if two players share the same city or the same road or the same farm, then they share the points. If one player has more pieces than the other in that city or road or farm, then that person only claims the points. So here's part of the interesting strategy of this game. Blue is drawing a piece and is now looking at its piece, going to try and hijack yellow again. So this interesting piece could be used. Now it could be used here and it could claim a small city, and that would actually help red because that would be helping complete red's cloister. But blue's focused on this city, and he decides that through a bit of guile, that, just move that down, that he will try and claim back his city by building a city in such a way that he has more pieces on it than yellow. And we'll just see how this plays out. So let's have a look. Yellow now draws a piece, and yellow has this city and road. Yellow could place it in a number of locations. It could even place it there, which would make it actually very difficult to complete that because the chances of doing that would be very difficult. And that could be a neat spoiling tactic by yellow. It would give blue some points here, 2 points for this, but it would absolutely wipe out almost certainly the value of this partly completed city. Not very nice, but it is a strategy option. Yellow, on the other hand, might decide that it's going to score some points out of this some way, and perhaps we'll go over here. And yellow might decide to claim the road. This is helping red, but at this point it's not a complete cloister, and yellow does not have a complete road to score points from. So the scoreboard remains unchanged, and blue now draws another piece, and blue is in a very difficult situation, and it's going to have a bit of a thought about how it's going to complete this city. Blue draws this piece here, which could be placed here, and it now links this up, but the city is still incomplete. It does not have a wall across this side. So the next piece placed here would have to have a wall which went from here to here, or perhaps it was open and could allow it to be built further. But at this point there's no scoring because neither side has completed the city. Okay, yellow's turn. Yellow draws this really neat bridging piece, which perhaps they'll place down over here, and they will claim the city, which again could be great points once it's complete. Now we're back to red, and red is looking for a bit of a break here because it would like to complete things, and red draws this piece, and it may do two things. First of all, it claims the city because it's just been built, and in doing so red now scores 2 points and is up to 5. It now claims back its meeple, and if we look at this, the cloister here is almost complete. It actually only requires one more tile here to complete it, and then red would score 9 points. Fantastic. Okay, but it's back to blue, and blue really is here looking for a bit of a lucky break. And it draws its next tile, and blue is very, very thankful for the luck here because it would complete this large city. Now, blue now has 2 meeples on the city, and yellow only has 1. So yellow is removed and scores no points. It's a bit harsh, but this is part of the strategy of learning to hijack other people's constructions. So blue scores 2 points for every city square and another 2 for the shield. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8 for the shield, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 points. That's an amazing score. And blue jumps from 6, adds 18, and ends up on 24. Fantastic. At least for blue. Okay, yellow now has its turn, and yellow draws a piece which is this interesting 2-ended city with a gap in the middle. Now for yellow that's not a bad placement because yellow could place that down here, and yellow would have a complete city as well. It would score 2, 4, plus 2 for the shield, making 6, 8. 8 points, and yellow would quickly jump up. 5 plus 8 being 13. Great. Red has its turn, and it draws, by luck, this road piece. And this obviously now completes the cloister because on every square around the cloister, it has access to farmland. Fantastic. So red removes its meeple, and red adds 9 points to its existing 5, giving 14. Wonderful. And interesting, red still has the farm. So, if the game was to stop at this point, red would actually be in a very strong position because its farmer would control lots of other farms. But what if the game was to play out slightly differently? Let us add a few more tiles and just see what might have been, if you will. Now, in the game, there is no obligation to have complete pieces. There may well be gaps around the table, vacant squares or two, which are not complete. And that's just how the game goes. Slide this board across a little bit. There we go. Just in case you didn't see that city before, there it is. So it would be 2. That's an amazing score. Where could I add this? Like this, and like this. And blue might have a farmer here, and yellow might have a farm here, and blue might have another farm here.